Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 184. And if you didn't hear the beginning of that, it's because I started. And if you did, it means because I started at the right time. So welcome. We're here virtually again, not for any disease reason, although COVID is spiking. We're here because you had travel and it just worked out better.
Yeah, this we can Rolex. We can start earlier because Vice President JT of his other life. Oh, geez. JT, carry it for a second. I just want to make sure. Yeah.
Speaking of vice presidents who get tons of phone calls during the middle of the day, that's true. We could start earlier, and I'm in a lot of meetings. Although I have managed since we moved to Mondays. I've managed to clear most of my work schedule on Mondays immediately before, at least the routine meetings. But every once in a while, I have an interview or something. Like today, I had an interview, but it got canceled. I don't know what happened. Candidate said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, I was thinking today that I was like, Mondays have been working great. Besides the Mondays when I get back from traveling, so I got in 10 minutes after 1 o'clock this morning. My head hit the pillow about 1:30, and then I woke up like 10 minutes to 3, and then I went to work. So I got a little bit of a nap in. So I'm just running on piss and vinegar right now.
This guy does not take a moment off. He is a workhorse as far as I'm concerned. And
I should be lauded. I should be lauded for my ability to make stupid decisions in life and double down on said stupid decisions. That's really my ability here.
I will say that if you lived where I live or like where I used to live in Troy, I would probably give you a finger wag for driving so tired, but you live pretty close.
No, I'm not overtired or anything when I'm driving. The time that I'm most tired is Tuesdays because like I'll get like a full night's sleep. Like I still wake up without an alarm. I just naturally wake up.
It's amazing. Even on 80 minutes of sleep.
Yep. I still woke up without an alarm. Awesome. Excited to seize the day. Get there. I didn't have a cup of coffee, or I didn't have the urge for a cup of coffee till like 7:30. So I was just grinding on my, just all the boring shit. But it was great. And I know you have research, but I had one of the best 4-day weekends of recent memory without planning anything, and a lot of it was beer centric. So I'll be quick about this.
Fuck my beer news. You just go. I don't just bullshit from Google, but you go.
So I'm going to actually make this pretty truncated and short. So the Craft Brewers Conference, which we did talk about at all, was in Minneapolis, and I just happened to be going to Minneapolis, and I thought, hey, there was an opportunity. Someone reached out to me. Hey, I've got an extra ticket, and I already had like supper club plans or whatever. And one of my favorite things is he's a Chuggalo. He listens occasionally. Chuggalo Aaron. He knows, like he's like the anti-Guy Fieri. He knows where all the spots to go that Guy Fieri hasn't been yet and totally blown up and ruined. And like he like lays out the red carpet for me because we work together. But he goes, hey, we're gonna go do a Wisconsin style supper club. And I go, I would love to go to a Wisconsin style supper club. But he goes, we're gonna take the scooters. So on this picture, you can see right now, that's myself. I'm about 205, and that's my buddy Uriah, and we're on the back of a 150 Vespa. Our buddy Aaron is just in front of us, and this is him not looking enthused. So this is Uriah and me on the back of Uriah is 45 years old. This is outside of the supper club there. So the nice thing about Vespas in Minneapolis, you can park anywhere with them. So then we went to a brewery, and like a completely like everyone was down because we're all early risers. We ate dinner at like 4:15. It was like my dream. I was still in bed by like 7 o'clock this night. So it just was fantastic. And then Chuggalo Ryan came and saw me in Minneapolis. So we went to a place called and I don't want to bury the lead here. So we went to this place, Malcolm in the Yard, and this is going to kick off what pisses me off segment. JT, have you ever been to those places where you get like a wristband or a card and they have 50 taps, and you pay by the ounce.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We talked about it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome gimmick. Well, here it's Malcolm Yard up in Minneapolis. It's up by the campus, and it was graduation, so it was crowded. I didn't fault that. They did an amazing job. They have 14 different restaurants in there, all like amazing food.
Wow.
So they have 20 taps, so they could have more taps. All of them were fucking foam. And like they have like 3 people watching, and they're like coming around just apologizing. So you're paying like, anywhere from the cheapest one is 40 cents an ounce to $1.19 an ounce. But for all this fucking head. And they're like, oh yeah, let me try. So you'd hand it to them, and like they're like, yeah, we're sorry. Meanwhile, you can watch your tab go like, it's air conditioning you. So anyways, that was the second time. So we're right next to a big brewery that I've tried to get into. JT, success. I finally got into Surly.
I saw that. I saw it. You were on Untapped as a Surly frequenter.
So the fun story with that is we had the second opportunity to ride scooters, but this one was Lime scooters, which are the best. I'm trying to look, but anyways, we were tooling around the Surly parking lot because it's so massive. But I just want to get to Surly. Again, I didn't change my opinion on their beer. It's the stuff that they distribute like at the store is ho hum. Their specialty stuff is fantastic. That space, because it's a beer hall and their like yard, their beer garden or whatever, has got to be like 5 acres. It's massive. You could fit 800-900 people in the beer hall, and everything's like so clean and behind plexiglass or whatever, so you can see the brewery operations. But it was just massive, and it's finally I've checked it off the list. So I when we were walking in, myself and Chuggalo Ryan, I kind of made a joke to the guy, and I go, "Am I going to be able to go in?" And he goes, and Ryan goes, "Do you think they know you?" And I go, "They don't know who I am. They don't follow the BCP." But so anyways, got into Surly.
Podcast in beer, period.
So
they know who you are.
Awesome. Small victories that just weren't planned. It was just like, hey, we have this in mind, and we're just going to go from there. And I got to ride scooters. Scooters are the best things. And I always relay your story about hitting a train track when we're on scooters, and then you being Usain Bolt for about 40 feet because trying to slow yourself down. But anyways, finally got into Surly. Really shitty story. Thanks for bearing with me, Chuggalos. But I just grinning ear to ear. The only bummer was I had to work like 10-hour days, for the weekend, but that's just life.
Yeah, that does suck. Man, so much there, so much material. Love the scooters. The electric scooters are the best.
They are. The Vespa's legit, but
I'm sure it's great. Man, I had just so much along the way. I had questions. I don't think I have any though anymore. Yeah, so I'll just piggyback on your brewery. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I went to took Caterade to Crooked Handle. That was where she requested to go. Not only did she want good beer, but she wanted wings, and she wanted the best wings in Dayton. So we went to Crooked Handle. Oh, just awesome. Had the peanut butter porter. That was the first beer I had. Fantastic. And it was hot outside. We sat in the sun, and it was hot, and I still enjoyed it. And I don't typically like dark beers in the sun or when I'm hot. And I will say this about Crooked Handle. Undoubtedly the best wings I've eaten in Dayton. I'll go so far as to even say, one of the wings that came with my wings was cooked so well done that it had meat. There was a hole in it, like the wing part, 2 bones. There was a hole in it because it just fried out. Even that wing was so freaking good, and you don't need sauce at Crooked Handle. Just eat the dry rub wings as they come. They're amazing. Maybe just take it down a notch on how well done they were, but still better than any wing that you could get cooked perfectly. These wings were amazing. So I have to just keep giving that shout. And they had 3 IPAs this time, which I found, actually, I think they had 4, but we had 3 of them. They scaled back on the fruited beers. They only had one this time, I believe. And they had that last time. It was like the strawberry something. But it's still amazing. All three IPAs had very different flavors, which is what you want. You don't want to just keep getting the same IPA over and over, which is how I feel. No offense to Dayton Beer Company, but when I go to Dayton Beer Company, and I know not all the beer on that menu is there, sometimes I feel like I'm drinking the same IPA multiple times in a row, and I'm getting different ones. So
that toxic syndrome.
Toxic, that they do that too. Yeah, I don't know if they're still like that. I've been getting a lot of high praise for Toxic from other people. So maybe they've changed, but that's what we did, and that's it. The beer news I have is not even beer news. Doesn't matter. We can kick it off with the review if you want.
So I just want two more things because I'd be remiss if I didn't say like how coincidental this weekend was. So I did one. Lime scooters are, after you've had a couple of pops in you, are not meant to not meant to like drive and take pictures at the same time. So like we could do it when we're on the Vespa. Mm-hmm. So here's the fun thing. So I'm leaving Minnesota for the weekend. I've just got done working, and all I hear being called from my favorite bar in a massive airport, which is Minneapolis, is Matt. And I'm looking around, and she's like, down here. On the way to the bar, I'm going to the bar because I have like 5 hours before my flight. This is my wife's best friend. Not coordinated. Wow. My wife's best friend in the entire, like, we don't get to see maybe like once a year, whatever, or whatever. So Stacy is going to bed. So I take a picture I send this to Stacy, and she goes, is this like Photoshopped or something? So this is Alex. I hand the phone to her, and like they just start like screaming or whatever. But then it's a beer etiquette thing. She's there on a work trip. I'm with one of my coworkers, Uriah. Like it's not appropriate to blend the party, but we sat close to each other, and like then her and I just started texting each other. And then the other thing I wanted to show is and I'm gonna have to switch. There we go. So that's Chuggalo Ryan on his scooter. I don't know if there's
seeing a picture of you and
what?
Your wife's friend.
Okay.
Yep.
Confirm. Stop sharing.
Yeah, probably got to reshare.
Okay. There we go.
All the time. There it is. Oh yeah, there.
Yeah. So I don't. He can still top that thing out. I mean, we're racing on that. So anyways, again, just all coincidental. Good, honest fun. But I can't. I can't. Again, none of it planned. And as a planner, it warms my heart when none of this stuff is planned and it just like works out like that. So.
That's awesome. That's great. Love Lime. We have great memories of Lime from Cincinnati. And now the scooters are starting to come. They're starting to proliferate in Dayton. And I will say
that's what I need to see.
Other cities have experienced. We're experiencing here. But I might be because I live so close to UD, and college students are fucking animals and don't clean shit up. These scooters are in the weirdest fucking places, but there's a lot of them, and you can get them pretty much anywhere now.
This is my first experience with Lime. When I went to stop it, you have to like hook it up to something. Like with Bird, when we did it for the Bobo, you could just leave it somewhere and it was fine. But with Lime, you actually have to put it on a bike rack. So I put it on a light post, and you have to take a picture. And it's like, if this isn't on a bike rack, you can be fined $25. So I had to go find a bike rack, which is great. I got to ride more, so who cares?
Just has different. To be a bike rack. Well, shit.
Maybe it's a new thing.
That's crazy.
But again, I don't need. I could just tool around on those all day. This weekend was all about scooters.
That's awesome.
What beer are we going first with, JT?
Let's start with Off Color.
What's the Off Color?
That's the white can.
So here's the beauty, JT, and I told you this in our very limited pre-production. JT dropped these off at my house last week. I honestly knew in the fridge where they were. I have no clue what these are. So I am coming into these completely. I don't know if we're having two IPAs. milk stouts. I don't know if they're a Wild Ohio beer. I'm excited because
Yeah,
I don't
what
know.
I've done is I've bought 2 Wild Ohio pints and I've relabeled them. Just kidding. All right, you're gonna need to roll this one. So roll it a little bit. It's got some puree in it. This is Off Color Brewing's Beer for Hoops. It is a cream ale with peach puree and vanilla beans added. We will crack it, then I'll talk about it. Ready?
Just
3,
say it.
2, up.
Good.
3, 2, 1. Oh man, way behind. That's all right. All right, Off Color Brewing is out of Chicago, and they actually read their About Me page and I visited their website. I will say, a little disappointed. At first, I was really disappointed in their website because I was like, oh, there's nothing here. But the menu for the website, if you're on the mobile app, the menu to see like about us, locations, beer, whatever, it's at the very top, right in the middle, center. It's center justified. You can barely. I didn't find it for a while, but they present themselves as a brew crewish type of brewery where they're not super pretentious. They joke around about themselves. Although, if you read their About Me, these guys went to like Peer University. They basically went to one of the top brewing schools in the country and then interned in beer. And then from there, got investors to invest in them to do their own brewery, which is Off Color. So it's not like maybe they're not pretentious, but they definitely come from a beer background. They're not the next brewery we're going to do. That guy, he started by having a home brew kit and just fell in love with it. These guys are like beer from college and beyond. They're like educated in it. So that's their background story. They are pretty funny because when they say they got investors and stuff, they talk about how they had that someone actually gave them the money, to invest. It's a risk. They took the risk, but it's in a joking way. I wish I could say it the way they said it, but I can't, and I don't have the website. Well, actually, I do have the website pulled up. I could read it, but I'm not gonna. The theme, we've done Off Color before, I think twice. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but they always have mice as the theme of the can art. And I noticed that on the website, they also have mice as the theme. So it must be the brewery theme. I think that the brewery restaurant is called the Mousetrap or something like that, which is kind of a weird name for.
One of the best bars in Eau Claire is my hometown is the Mousetrap.
Okay. That's good to know. And they also have a picture, which I like, of a dog right on the cover because that dog barks at the mice. But I think, yeah, I'm sure every brewery gets mice, but
right.
It's a joke. They're making a joke because of the mouse theme that's going on at the bar. So the Mousetrap is the restaurant. I don't know how the food is. So did that give you enough runway there to
it's
good taste?
Yeah, it's fantastic because I was updating the spreadsheet while you were pontificating on this, and I was like, Off Color, maybe one time. We've had them 4 times, but not in the last year and a half. So we had them 66, we had them 68. So it must have been a back-to-back JT or an on and off
Chicago trip, yeah.
And then the last time we had them was July of last year, and that was beer for ball games.
Oh yeah, beer for ball.
So like a same
beer for hoops.
Yeah. So when you say a cream ale with peach puree and vanilla bean, what comes to mind that elicits certain. So I come into this like it's going to be like a cream lifesaver, like that vanilla, that really satisfying one. Unfortunately, it's not that.
Yeah.
So off the top rope, this has more of a whole hum lager cream ale to it, and it's got that other stuff, but it's all subtle. So this would be a good bridge to individuals that like ancient lagers, and you're trying to push your friends into like more of a fruited beer or be a little more adventurous. If you listen to us, one, thanks, but two, if you like the fruited stuff, this probably isn't going to be your jam because it's very subtle. You get both of them, but it's very overpowered by the cream ale, which is really, the victory of this beer. So off the top rope, I was hoping for more. Not everything, and I understand you can't have your palate blasted, everything, 11 with these beers. I'm going to give this 3.75 off the top rope.
All right, great review. Love the authority and the rigor and the brevity, which we did talk about last week in pre-production. You don't have to be, but I appreciate it. Yeah. So
less is more.
Sometimes. So this is 5% alcohol by volume. I didn't mention that. It's got, so they list, and I'll get to this in the can art, but they do list a bunch of stuff on here. Malts, 2-row, flaked barley, caramel malt, dextrin malt, flaked oats, hops, nougat, lotus, and Grungeist. Never heard of that one. And secret ingredients are peach puree and vanilla beans. Not so secret when you put it on the front top of the can there.
Whoa!
I get it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Turns out it is a session, I guess, because I thought sessions were like, you make this beer and this session is the lighter alcohol version of it. But I guess, does a session just anything under a certain percent? Is that?
That's
that means
my novice understanding of a session is it's gonna, even 5 is kind of high for a session, but definitely below 6.
High, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seems high to me. I didn't notice that at first, but it does say session on the can, and they have it. It's like almost like a badge, but it's hand drawn. So this is the can art boner segment brought to you still by Chuggalo Mom. Thanks, Chuggalo Mom.
She's such a glory hound.
Definitely getting your money's worth on the can art. Off color, for those if you watch the other episodes, you're going to notice the same thing. But when you see them at a place like Binny's, they're all black and white like this, like pencil sketch art. And that does them well because you notice those beers. Even if there's only 2 of them next to each other, 2 4-packs, that's 4 beers that all look the same, even if they're different beers. And it really stands out in this sea of color, especially if you're thinking about Chicago and you're thinking about local breweries. This off color is going to be on the same shelf as Pipeworks. It's going to be on the same shelf as Illuminated and then itself. And so you have Illuminated and Pipeworks with wild color cans, and then you have them with this pencil sketch, black and white can. It really does stick out, which is crazy because the color should do the opposite, but it doesn't. This is what's in the negative. And that is an insanely educated can art background with all of the breweries and how I know what their can art is, but it's because we do this segment. No one else does this can art segment.
You kind of get it then with off color, not color, off color.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a very good point. And they stick to that. So the mouse in this one, so in beer for ballparks, I believe it was a pseudo Wrigley. This one, I mean, you can't really tell if it's United Center or not, but I'm sure it has some Chicago tie. He's going to dunk a peach like Michael Jordan did in the, 88 All-Star game, 89 All-Star game, wherever the shoe was made. He jumped from the free throw line. This one's jumping from way back, like half court.
I thought it was earlier than that, but
maybe it was 80. Yeah, maybe it was 87. I don't know. I was very small back then. Some would say a baby. And then so there's also this mouse here that he's got a basketball, and this mouse is going to dunk a peach. So there's some miscommunication here about how this game's being played, because this guy's about to get posterized, as they say, but he's holding a basketball. You don't see many people get posterized while holding the ball. And then something happened back here. I guess this guy got fouled. And the ref the ref's not even paying attention. He's like, dude, you got to get up.
That was Detroit Pistons. That was, he got mugged.
Yeah. That was the 80s Pistons. That's right. Yeah. And just such a great, I rewatched, what is it? The Bulls thing. The Last Dance. Just awesome.
Sorry,
that's it.
Stacy.
Pencil sketch drawing of a basketball court, some mice playing basketball. A lot of conflicting things here. This mouse has a basketball. I'm not sure what's going on. He's spinning it like the Harlem Globetrotters. But there's 2 basketballs, a peach, and an injured player, and the ref is nowhere to be found. He's like off on the other side of the court. So it's an interesting scene. That's the Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Chuggalos Mom. And I'll point these badges out again. I like that. And I like listing all this stuff here. Only thing missing from our ideal can, which we talked about probably 100 episodes ago, is adding the pairings. That would be really cool. Other than that, we talked taste. When I saw puree, I think that my psychology of puree in beer has been permanently altered by 450 North. And it has to be because of what you're getting with those beers. They're so thick. I mean, you're literally getting a fruit smoothie in every beer. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where my mind was at with this. And I think it was also that I expected sweet in this beer, which would be one of the first times that I expected and was disappointed by the lack of lactose. I think if you added lactose to this beer, very minimal, it would amp it up a lot. It would make this a very delicious dessert style cream ale. The peach, I don't even really taste the peach. So that's disappointing because I love peaches. I think it's one of the best fruit flavors. Vanilla, I guess the vanilla is in there. I guess it's all in there. I just don't taste it very prevalently. I'm not saying they're lying.
Yeah. Like if there was a milk carton, you would put peaches and cream on the back of the milk carton and say missing.
Missing, exactly. I would put peaches in. Yeah, it should have cream, but it doesn't. It doesn't have, I don't taste the vanilla very much. Don't taste the peaches. And the cream ale flavor that's in this is far more ale than cream. I have been spoiled by what I consider to be the best cream ale in the country, probably. And I will say that Warped Wings cream ale is pretty good. But the Cali Creamin' is hands down the best. And this just doesn't deliver. It's almost like you said. It's the beer, a transition beer from your Pilsner drinker to a craft beer, because you get a lot of just ale flavor in this.
Yep.
Man, I'm just I was really excited for this one. But overall, drinkable. I'm not knocking the fact that it is a beer that's good. It's just not great. I'm at a 3.25.
We have a new guy in our office, and the reason why I bring it up is because he's a police officer on the south side of Chicago, and he's asking about all these beers and everything, and he's a craft beer drinker. He's in his 50s, and I was like, oh, because I've never been to Binny's. He's like, oh, where do you get all this stuff? And I go, well, the Chicago guy in my group, he goes to Binny's. He's like, oh yeah, Binny's or whatever. So it was nice to like bridge that gap for him. But it's really cool with him because he's down for whatever. You know, he's an older guy, like I said, comfortably in his 50s, but he'll try whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's awesome.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, you want to get people who are willing.
Yeah.
Before you go to a craft beer bar or something.
To go on a journey.
To go on a journey, yeah. Like you've talked about bringing people out with you who might not be craft beer heads.
Yeah.
And want Miller, but it's good to see that. And yeah, Binny's is a good bridge. I've tried like the difference between Illinois and Ohio in buying beer is that in Ohio they have these blue laws which require that each town only has one liquor store, and with that you can buy craft beer at the grocery store, but most times the liquor store in each town takes the craft beer more seriously so we get a good selection at a lot of different places. In Illinois, I've tried going to stores that would appear to be like the craft beer stores we have in Ohio, but they never are.
Yeah.
Gas stations don't give a fuck about craft beer, and they don't. I mean, you go to a gas station, you're getting
old pile,
Light, Bud Light, that shit. Exactly. Oh yeah, a lot of old style. But you go to Binny's and sometimes Jewel, and they have a ton of craft beer.
Jewel Asco.
Jewel-Osco, that's right. But out here in Ohio, it's like the complete opposite. Well, the gas stations totally care. The grocery stores don't give a flying fuck. They carry the big ones. Like in Dayton, they'll carry Warped Wing, Rheingeist, and Yellow Springs. That's it. And then the Cleveland ones, the big ones, Commodore, whatever that one, Commodore Perry, Great Lakes.
Great Lakes.
Anyway,
we had some Dortmunder lager in my office up in Minneapolis. We had a pretty good fridge this weekend, so I had my first Waldo, my Lagunitas Waldo, their triple IPA.
Oh, how was it?
It was quite good. It's not in that upper echelon, but it's a good, like, bigger IPA.
Okay.
But it's one that I've been, and it just was randomly, somebody just brought it to the office, and they're like, oh, yeah, we figured you'd like it.
Oh, yeah. It's beer. You can figure that.
Everyone just, because we have a good job up there of, people feel guilty if they're not contributing, and they'll sit there and, and it's like the fridge that I gave Randy Orton for his housewarming. But, it's like there's ghee in there. There's, a couple of meat sticks, and then it's mostly beer.
Yeah. I always felt bad when I didn't contribute too. But then I moved to an office that didn't do shit. And when I did contribute, they shit on it. So, whatever. Fucking assholes. I'll tell the story later, but let's get to the next beer. The next beer is Energy City Brewings.
Energy City.
Energy City. I'll tell you why it's called Energy City. It's Bistro Cabana, peach, orange, cranberry. This is a very fruit focused episode, except this one is as expected, Berliner Weiss, but the other one was a cream ale, which wasn't exactly an expected fruited beer.
The only time I've ever had Energy City, I had to get it from Tavor. I've never seen it in the stores, so I'm stoked for this.
I watched their entire video, and they talk about that. But we'll crack.
They talk about Tavor?
They talk about being in store. All right.
Oh.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, it was locked and loaded. I'll say that. I don't know if there's a puree in this. I did not roll it, but Energy City. When I was at Binny's, they don't shut up about Energy City. That's all they say. And the last time I went to Binny's, oddly enough, if you remember, I said there was one beer that the person said was their favorite. This is the second beer they said. It's because the first beer was an Energy City beer that they did not have. This time, I went there and I think they had 3 Energy City beers. And I picked up the one that actually came recommended by the store clerk. I do tend to talk to the people I don't talk to a lot of store clerks when I'm shopping. I just want to be left alone. But when I go to Binny's in Chicago, I always ask them, what's your favorite beer? Just like when you order a cocktail, like if you go to Century Bar.
Sorry, Stacey.
It can be rewarding if you ask them what their favorite drink is. Now, not to be that douchebag, because there's always a guy who sits down and is like, oh, man, let me get some of that Johnny Walker Blue. Oh, I know everything about whiskey. They're going to just like laugh in your face. But this is a case where you just want to try the best thing. I do that at Binny's, and this came recommended. I did not remember the person's name or anything. But man, have I heard a lot about Energy City. So this is a Berliner style Weiss beer with peach, orange, and cranberry. You are supposed to invert and swirl the can before serving. My bad. I did not do that, but you could drink a little bit out and then swirl it around. It won't spill. You want to get that shit off the bottom. Best kept cold. I've kept this cold the whole time. When I bought it, it was like 30 degrees in Chicago, so it stayed cold in my car. And then I know Matt doesn't agree with me keeping it in my car, but I did. 6.5% alcohol, fruit added after fermentation. Smart.
Yep.
And it says our bistro beers have sourness served fresh from the kettle for a bright and lively taste. So that's all the preamble I'll give you. I believe it is now your time, unless you need more time. You need more time?
Yeah.
You're gonna invert it.
So I tried, because that first taste that I had. If you guys want to rewind about 45 seconds, it tastes like It tastes like I was licking an armpit. So.
Oh, that sucks.
But it gets better.
Yeah.
That's on me. Beer. This is the Matt's plea version of our session of the pod. More cranberry in beer, please. Cranberry is my favorite fruit. Love cranberry juice.
Excellent.
I like the tartness. I like the crispness of it without
Love
being
it.
overly sugary like a cherry. So more cranberry, like lambics just pair really well or do well with cranberry. The last, so we've had Energy City before in the podcast back in the early days.
Oh.
It's Orange Delicious milkshake. But the only
remember
time
that.
I remember the can, and again, the only time I've ever seen it is Tabor. But I really, after this you got to keep drinking this beer. So again, with the cranberry, the peach, it's a lot of love for peach on this,
This episode.
This episode.
That was intentional. When I bought all these beers, I bought 10 beers. I always split them up. The first thing I do before I put them in the fridge is pick out the pairing.
So
they're going to go together.
Off the top rope, this is what you would call like a upper Midwest tropical boot, so like this is not tropical fruit orange doesn't grow but that's like the feeling that it has. It's bright, it's vibrant, there's a lot of viscosity to it. It has what off color should have had. You definitely get more peach in this, and I'm not a fan of peach, but it's there because it gives the beer body, and the pairing with these three fruits is very educated. It's very calculated. I enjoy the shit out of it. I just like, again, the viscosity, the freshness of it. Like this would be a delicious fruit bowl that you'd put like on your table.
That would be a good fruit bowl.
And nothing would feel that foreign to you because they're all very approachable fruits that you can get most anywhere. Like nothing's too exotic. All of these fruit, cranberries,
standard
Wisconsin,
American kitchen fruits.
Yep. And they do a great job of blending it. And I would never pick these like three, because I always try to deconstruct these and like make a fruit smoothie. I would never pick these three because you're relying on the peach to give you your body.
Yep.
The orange to give you your acid, and then the cranberry to clean it up and give you that tartness and that vibrancy in your drink. This is fantastic. Coming in at a 6.5. I enjoy the shit out of this one. Off the top rope, I'm vacillating between two scores. That's why I'm kind of tap dancing a little bit.
I can talk if you need to tap.
No. Off the top rope, 4.5.
All right. So there was a few things I told Matt before that I did some research, and he seemed surprised by it, but I did. Energy City. Maybe and it would be enlightening to hear. Do you know why the name Energy City was chosen?
I do not.
In Batavia, which is where this beer is brewed, there are two main industries, main sources of employment, I think. There's a windmill manufacturing company, so makes sense. And the second is Fermi, which has a particle accelerator. So they chose Energy City.
Oh, Fermi is there?
They think they're the Energy City. Yeah, Fermi's there. At least that's what they said in the video.
Interesting.
There's two main laboratories in that region. The other one is Argonne.
Yeah.
Argonne and Fermi. So that's cool. Also, I believe, I can't remember how this works, but the deadliest intersection in the country is around there. It is not deadly because of car accidents. It actually houses the biggest cross section of natural gas pipelines under the earth, and it all takes place within like a 100-meter radius of a main intersection of, like, I don't know what it is. Let's say it's just some route, number, and then another road. There's a street light, 4 or 5 lane thing, and it is, if you were to strike that point with a bomb or missile, you would cause enormous damage. I read that, interestingly enough, when I was in high school. Now, after high school, I was reading a Maxim magazine. There were articles in those magazines, and that was one of them. Where the deadliest intersection in the country. So, Batavia.
Sorry, Stacy.
Now, the gentleman who makes this beer, he has a video on the website that I watched talking about their brewery. He was just gifted a home brew kit, made it, loved it, and turned it into a business. And he does that with his wife. And they said that their measure of success was if they were distributed to one store.
Oh, really?
They consider themselves a complete success if they could be found in a store. So they are in all Binnies as far as I'm concerned. They have achieved success, and their canning is their second location. Their first location, they only opened to the public for 3 hours a month, the first of every month for 3 hours. And it was lines, crazy lines going on.
Oh, yeah,
So
exclusivity.
The rest of the time was just to brew. And now they're open just on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. But they can now, so you can get it anywhere and drink it on any day. You don't have to drink it on the weekend.
Here's an interesting fact for you. Batavia is also in Ohio, and Batavia, Ohio has the third most dangerous intersection in the state of Ohio. Yeah, I'm just Googling it as like, but yeah, then all the Batavia, Illinois stuff comes up.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so curious by that stuff.
It's all connected.
So don't name. You know what? New states, like New Mexico. Don't name one of your cities Batavia. It's going to be deadliest.
Deadliest catch without the crabs. All right. Here's the can art bonus segment brought to you by Chuggalo Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
There it is. I think that's enough. Was it too fast? I don't know. But if you can't see the can in that amount of time, well, sorry. All right. Bistro Cabana. It's got some palm trees growing out of the letters. I love that. It definitely gives me that tropical feel like Matt was talking about.
Like Midwestern tropical.
Midwestern tropical, right. Midwestern tropical. We're talking like if this was some HGTV show, they'd put sand on the floor of some kid's room and called it like the beach room or something. Because I've seen that done, actually. That's been an episode I've seen. I don't remember which show.
It's like carpet in bathrooms.
Carpet in bathrooms is like a 50s, 60s thing. If you see it today, that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
So there's pictures of fruit. I think those are drawn. Yeah, I don't know, but they're really well drawn. Enough to where
they're JT. I believe they're clip. I think they're clip art.
They're clip art. Yeah, you think they could be? It could be clip art. They did. What they did was they probably took pictures of fruit, although the leaves look drawn, so I'm sure they're drawn. And then they used like Microsoft PowerPoint to remove the background, because they don't even want to spend the money on Photoshop. And then just put them together like that. I don't care. It's fine with me. It makes it look good, and it drew my attention to the can, although I was already looking for Energy City because that's what was recommended. I like the color scheme up and down the can, orange to blue, with white in the middle. That's it. That's can art bonus segment. There's not much to report there in that regard. Interesting about this beer is that the guy who starts it, like I said, he just was like a hobbyist and got into business. Whereas the off color one, these guys are educated beer people. And you don't hear when you go to Binny's and off color, this might be something that you need to address with Binny's. No one's lauding off color. I get off color because I like what I'm seeing on the can. I like the flavors I'm reading.
This is awesome. This is awesome feedback.
Good. I'm glad. Energy, they can't stop talking about. Every time I go to Binny's, they tell me they get an Energy City beer, and I'm not saying that the brewer or the brewery is one's better than the other. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the amount of word of mouth is definitely skewed towards Energy City and not off color. I can't say the same is true for like Pipeworks or Illuminated, but in those aspects, I think that just power in numbers, those are just bigger brewers and they're distributed farther. So having said that, this beer is excellent. It is so good. You can taste all three of the flavors that they promised you. The orange does come off as the zest, so a little bit bitterer, more bitter than it would be if it was orange juice. But neither of which in this case taste fake, which I know is one thing Matt looks out for in every orange beer he drinks. I do taste that zest to it from the orange peel. The cranberry comes through as I think you had described it as the tartness. I get more of I think it darkens the beer a little bit in a fruity way, in like a
I don't know if you can.
I
don't know if you can say that.
Like a burned malt type of way. Just I can say it. It just brings the beer into that more like rich fruit category as opposed to like the sweet fruit. It's just more. It's like I don't know. Only word that comes to mind. I think one word you said. Oh man, what was it? It was a good word. Started with a V, I think. Not viscosity, but something else. But I'm just thinking deep. That's what I'm thinking. When I taste the cranberry in particular, it like deepens the beer. It gives it some sort of like deeper richness, deeper meaning even. It reflects on its own life, concludes things that it otherwise wouldn't have. And the peach does come through as the body. I agree. I think the peach is what gives it that thickness. Because I don't think they don't talk about lactose or anything. So I think the peach is what's giving it that.
You know, you can associate peach with thickness because you don't ever associate someone's ass as an orange or a cranberry, but you definitely associate it as a peach.
100%.
That
thickness. Peach-shaped ass. Yep. We can go back to this here. That is just an ass-shaped ball. This beer is excellent. I had my score already picked out so that I wouldn't be influenced because I felt like if Matt went with a 5, I'd up it. And I thought he would. I was at a 4.5 from probably the third taste. This beer is excellent. I actually think that the thing that would make this beer better is more cranberry. So to piggyback off of what Matt said, I think that keep everything the same and amp up the cranberry. This beer is a 5, 100% of the time. It just needs that factor, that differentiating factor. Man, it's a good beer. I don't know how I like the other Energy City. But so far, the recommendation's been great.
So what was your final score on this one?
4.5.
So we're copacetic on that one.
We are, yeah.
On the Orange Delicious Milkshake, you were a 3.
Ooh.
I was a 4, and Cobra was a 3.75.
All right in the middle. Look at that.
That was April 2 years ago. 1 week after St. Archer's Gold.
Ooh, I remember that. I remember the hunt. That was the Super Bowl commercial and that beer.
And then we paired that with the nor in particular Awkward Neighbor.
Oh yeah, Awkward Neighbor. We went to Nowhere in Particular first. That's where Katie wanted to go this weekend. She wanted to go to Nowhere in Particular.
The cabinet.
The Cabinet of Curiosity.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they said the Taco Truck's Facebook page is the only place you can get the hours from, and they said that they'd be open from noon to 3 on Sunday. But we got to Nowhere in Particular, and they were not open. But Nowhere in Particular was.
If you can't lock down your stuff like that, you just lose people because that's how people are checking that shit. That's how they do it, you know?
That's how they do it. You gotta keep your main sources of information. You gotta keep them up to date. I know it's bullshit and even I don't like Facebook, but if you're a business, keep your Facebook page updated, keep your Google updated, and you can edit the Google hours. It's not like they just won't let you. And I walked in and I said, "Is the food truck going to be operational today?" And the guy said, "No." And I said, "Oh, that sucks because I really wanted to drink here, but my wife wants Mother's Day lunch, and you don't have food." So
Yeah.
he's like, "I understand." And we were trying to go dog friendly so we could take our dog. And we did. Crooked Handle, you could take your dog. So we went there.
That was one thing. So I went to a new brewery on Wednesday, the first night I got up there, and it was Ven, and 17 dogs. And everyone thinks that, their dog is, precious and isn't not. The dogs getting into fucking fights, dogs pissing in the tap room, like not.
Man, no.
Yeah, like
if you do a Crooked Handle style, their rule is patio only.
Oh yeah, no, this dog's inside.
No fucking way. I don't want dogs inside the brewery zone drinking that. No way. And if I'm a brewer, I don't want that shit either.
Yeah. Then we had to deal with a certain population of people I don't like associated with craft people. Like, not like skinny jeans or whatever, but we agree on the population. And so, yeah.
Those guys?
Yeah. Fixies. And so the deal was your first pint, and it was $14 for a pint and an order of wings. And so they text your phone. Everything, by the way, in Minnesota, if you go to these places, automatic 18% gratuity. So you don't
get one person.
You don't get a tip line. Oh yeah, even for one person, automatic.
There's no tip line though. I'm fine with that.
Automatic, but so like that place that I told you about, that big food court. I was like, how do I tip at the end of it? And they're like, oh, it's just an automatic 18. I go, well, it actually saves me money because I tip way more.
So do I.
It's not a humble. It's a dumb brag because I shouldn't be tipping that much. But
I agree. 100%.
Not everyone is awesome.
I feel bad every time.
I'm like, man,
tipped more.
So I we our phone went up. Your wings are ready, and we go out there and we're standing like in the pick up your food because it's a big food truck and they're like way above you, and we're standing there, and my buddy goes. He's way more vocal than I am, but in a non-confrontational, non-asshole way. And he goes, "Yeah, sorry, we're not. Our phones just went off. We're just here to pick it up. We can see our wings." And he goes, "We're not cutting." And she goes, "It sure looks like you're cutting." And I was like, at this point, I don't want to make eye contact because if I make eye contact, I'm going to go off on this. This wonderful young professional. But. God bless.
That's fucking stupid. Oh god, people are so dumb.
She brought two dogs.
Wait, so you had to tip 18% at a food truck that you had to go pick up your own food at?
Yep.
I see. That's a cop out. I don't agree with that. I think
like Surly, that's how they're getting around automatic 18%. You order one beer.
It's all a cop out. Honestly, it's all a cop out because all you have to do is raise the wages and then eliminate the tip. Instead, you've assigned an 18% tax, and I bet you that doesn't go to the wait staff. It's just added on. It's probably just part of your money.
There was one receipt. It's at work. So at the airport, they have an automatic 4% fee that they have to delineate, and they put a note on there that says this is not gratuity for your host, but it's like I forget the fee. But there's an automatic 4% fee, and it's like they have to delineate that this doesn't go to it's your benefit of being there or something like that.
Like we have a problem already with higher food prices because of the inflation that's happening, and tipping in this country is completely off the rails. It's nuts.
I know I tip way too much, but
I tip way too much because I always feel bad, but deep down, I wish they'd get rid of it so I could stop. The habit I can't break.
Yeah.
Why am I tipping so fucking much? Because I feel bad.
Because the Wisconsin
less money.
Yeah, because the Wisconsin Slupper Club that we went to, I ended up tipping quite a bit. But and unsad on him, like we're obviously ordering different things. So he comes back with one bill, and we're like, "Can we just chop it?" one guy's like, and I was like, I ordered more expensive stuff or whatever. So we kept the drinks separate, thank goodness. And then we just chopped it. And I go, well, I wanted to pay. I wouldn't have ordered the, smoked trout and sampler,
The
appetizer.
caviar sampler?
Yeah, the caviar sampler. No, it's a Wisconsin supper club, so then no caviar, but
no caviar.
But no, they split it well, but I still came off like a bandit, but whatever. You live, you learn. But it's just like isms like that. Yeah, like the automatic 18%, all the breweries I went to is automatic 18% on everything.
I mean, I like it for me because I tip too much, but I don't like it. It's a cop-out.
And here's another gimmick. So I go to a brewery I've gone to multiple times. I've never given them any information. I always pay with a card. And my wife's and my account are separate. Well, the next day she gets a $5 off coupon for her next visit. She's never been to the brewery. It was the same brewery I went to last night, but they've never had. So I don't know like what big data they've associated with it. So I just gave it to my friend because it's right down the street for him. It's like $5 off your next. And it's not a minimum or anything. I go, you get $5 off your next $8 beer.
Yeah.
So he'll use it.
That.
It was crazy. I've never seen that though before. Out out to them too because Wild Minds is the name of the brewery and they've been up 5 years. The first like 3 years, because they kind of shut down a little bit for COVID. But it was very derivative. Everything kind of tasted the same, but you went there because you want to support. They're off the rails now. They're doing a bunch of zany experimental stuff. And it's a cool space. It's very stark. It's not as warm and receptive as any other place, but and they engage so much in their outdoor seating rather than indoor. But that's where we play trivia when I'm up there. And but their beers, I mean, had I didn't have to work the next day and wanted to be home at 7:00, there's probably 5 or 6 that I was really looking forward to, genuinely.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I think to stay afloat is be zany. Or like Branch and Bone, I actually feel kind of bad because I think they boxed themselves into this corner where they were like, we're the technical brewers. We can do some really crazy technical shit. And the beer's going to be, it'll be an IPA.
Right.
But it's going to be some kind of IPA that's like science. But now that's like what they have to do.
Yeah. They have to maintain.
Rebrand that. Yeah, because people go to Branch and Bone because they're like, that's where the beer scientists are. We're going to go to Warped Wing for, and this is all obviously just Dayton specific. We're going to go to Warped Wing for our like trusty standards. We're going to go to nowhere in particular for the crazy sours that are probably experimental. And you kind of box yourself in. But if you do that, you can see success. Yeah,
Branch and Bone, we would never be able to pitch them old style. They're not.
Style?
Yeah, Ohio style. We would never be able to like.
Yeah, right.
That's still our gentleman's agreement with Jason.
Yeah, they're not going to get behind that. Yeah, and that's a good place to do it because they kind of have like staples that aren't IPAs, like the peanut butter porter, but they're still willing to be a local brewer. That's making things like Ohio style standard beers. So you got to find that niche and then scratch it. Anyway, you got any parting words there?
I mean, always, it's tough. Like 2 hours after or the day after, I didn't say this. And I always like, carry notes and everything with, but no, I'm reasonably satisfied.
I'm reasonably satisfied as well. I think that as a compliment to you, you performed exceptionally well for being on such little sleep. I trust you to drive. You have my blessing.
Well,
but please don't.
No, stuff we'll talk about after we hit the record button.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's episode 184. We've done it. I think we made it under an hour. We still have 30 seconds I could waste, but I won't. So that's it. Bye.